Have you ever watched someone walk into a room and just own it? They speak up in meetings, they laugh easily, they seem so sure of themselves. And you think, I wish I had that. I used to think confidence was something you were born with, like eye color or a talent for singing. I thought I just didn't get that gene. But then I heard this weird piece of advice: fake it till you make it. It sounded like a cheap trick. How could pretending to be something you're not actually change anything? I was skeptical, but I was also tired of feeling like a background character in my own life. So I decided to run an experiment. For 7 days, I would act as if I were the most confident person I knew. I would fake it. And what I discovered completely rewired my brain. Day 1 and 2, the actor's rehearsal. The first 2 days were awkward. It felt like I was wearing a costume that was 2 sizes too big. My mission was simple: focus on the physical. I stood up straight, even when I was just making coffee. I forced myself to make eye contact with the cashier. In a team call, I made a conscious effort to speak first, even if it was just to say, I agree with that point. My heart was pounding. My inner critic was screaming, they can see right through you. You sound ridiculous. But something strange happened. When I stood taller, I felt a tiny bit stronger. When I spoke first, people actually listened and nodded. No one pointed and laughed. No one called me a fraud. The world was just responding to the version of me I was projecting. But here's the thing about faking it. The act itself is exhausting. I was going home completely drained. I wasn't sure how long I could keep up the charade, but then, around day 3, a shift started to happen. Day 3 and 4, the feedback loop. This is where the magic started. I was in a coffee shop and the barista got my order wrong. The old me would have just sighed and drank the wrong latte. The fake confident me took a deep breath, walked back up, and said with a smile, "Hey, I'm so sorry. I think there was a mix-up." I ordered a cappuccino. And you know what happened? The barista apologized and made me a new one. No drama, no conflict, just a solved problem. This was the feedback loop in action. I acted confidently, the world responded positively, and that positive response gave me a tiny, genuine flicker of real confidence. It was no longer 100% fake. It was maybe 10% real. My actions were starting to convince my own brain. However, a big test was coming. A social situation where I couldn't just rely on posture and small talk. Day 5 and 6, embracing the silence. I was at a small gathering, and there was a lull in the conversation. The old me would have panicked, feeling the pressure to fill the silence with something brilliant, usually resulting in me saying something clumsy. This time, I remembered my confident rules. Confident people are comfortable with quiet, so I didn't say anything. I just smiled and looked around, and the silence was okay. It wasn't a monster. A few seconds later, someone else picked up the conversation. That's when I had my biggest realization. Confidence isn't about knowing what to say all the time. It's about being okay with not knowing. It's about trusting that you don't have to perform perfectly to be accepted. But the final day held the biggest surprise of all, one I never saw coming. Day 7 and the final revelation. On the last day, I realized I wasn't faking it as much. The straight posture was becoming more natural. Speaking up felt less like a chore. The costume was starting to fit. I hadn't become a completely different person. I was still me, with all my quirks and insecurities, but I had given myself permission to take up space. The most profound lesson wasn't that I had tricked everyone else. It was that I had tricked my own brain. By consistently acting as if I were confident, my brain received so much evidence from the outside world. See, people listen to you. Things work out. That it started to update its internal software. It started to believe the act. The bottom line, fake it till you make it, isn't about being a phony. It's a practical neurological hack. Your brain believes what you consistently show it with your actions. You can't just think your way into confidence. You have to act your way into it. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to take the small physical actions of a confident person. Stand tall, make eye contact, speak your mind, be okay with silence.